let's talk about this meeting yesterday between President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. Usually, I think Prime Minister Netanyahu feels like he walked away with something. It helps bolster his case. Like when you read the Israeli press, he got bum roasted, as my nephew would say.
I like that. I'm going to use
Yeah.
that.
He walked away.
It seemed like a major blunder to run off from Hungary, which is a separate issue. And
that's the whole Hungary and the U.S. and
right. It's a whole separate issue. And then come to Washington,
right,
with no prospects of getting anything. I mean, what's the old thing about lawyers? Don't ask a question unless you know the answer. Don't come to Washington unless you're pretty confident.
Yeah, Congress doesn't put a resolution down if it doesn't have the votes.
Right. And so,
what was he coming for? What was he coming
Well, I mean, everybody said he was coming to tuck Trump out of the tariffs on Israel, but I think that was nonsense. I mean, sure, 17% tariffs in the Israeli Manufacturing Association said it was going to hurt, but there are critical parts of the Israeli economy and critical things that the Israelis export to the United States that are accepted.
Well, he also said
like services like tech and defense industry stuff.
And
so
biotech.
It's like
he also said to President Trump, we will, it felt like he was coming like, oh, President Trump, we will eliminate those, barriers.
Well, right. I mean, that's the way to deal with Trump. That's the way to deal with Trump. But Trump didn't budge. He said, well, maybe we will, maybe we won't. But, we give you like $4 billion. That's a lot. Congratulations, So he didn't get anything on tariffs. But I think that was cover for the real issue, which was to talk to Trump about Iran. And I think the writing was on the wall. It should have been on the wall to everybody that Trump was more interested in a negotiation, and that even though the Ayatollah had rejected direct negotiations, it opened the door to indirect negotiations, and that Trump was going to take it. And sure, maybe he'll call it direct negotiations, but whatever. Like we said, it's a distinction without a difference at this point. And I think that Netanyahu is coming here to try to impart upon the president that in those negotiations, Israel's interests should be looked after. And because you don't really know with the president. I mean, the president has indicated very clearly that he wants a deal. Does he want a deal for the sake of, security and stability in the Persian Gulf and global security? Or does he want a deal for the sake of a deal? Say, hey, I got a better deal than President Obama. Maybe it's both. But you don't know with this president. And that's not a political statement. That's just an objective observation.
He's got a deal because he's a deal maker and he likes to.
That's
exactly he's got like 3 or 4 deals going. He's got a deal to own Gaza. He's got a deal to end the Ukraine war.
Right.
Now he's going to have a nuclear deal. Like, this is like, let's make a deal, ultra edition.